What's up, you guys? This is It's Real with Jordan and Demi, and today we have a very special guest. Um, Joey Purp is coming on the show, and the story goes I was in a bar just chilling in Little Italy, and Elastic came on the radio. And I literally stopped what I was doing and I turned around and I was like, you guys, who is this? I Shazammed it and we had to have him on the show to dive deeper into his genius. So everyone, please welcome Joey Purp.
You're like a hip hop historian and a hip hop scholar, you know.
For sure.
And we'll get into that a little bit later. But first,
sure.
we want to talk about new music coming out.
Yep.
You know, we've been talking about your collaboration you've done with Kami and everything. And we're curious what's going on the solo side of things with you right now.
I got so much music. Actually, like I have more music. I have more music right now than I've ever had in my life. Like at one time, unreleased and stuff. So I have multiple projects worth of music. I'm about to put out like an EP and then probably another EP and then like a full length. That's the plan. So I'm trying to drop as much music as I can within this next 12, 18 months, 24 months, shit like that.
It's so crazy. I just told my friend the other day, who does, like, she's not an artist or anything, but she was wondering about how artists go about choosing the songs they release. And I was like, actually, like, I feel like most artists only release maybe 30% of like the music they actually make. So how do you decide what comes out?
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't know. A lot of rappers are like that, I guess, and artists are like that. Historically, I haven't been like that. In our camp, we have a saying that we adopted.
Oh no, we're still here.
Okay, cool. In our camp, we have a saying that we adopted that's we use every part of the buffalo. So like that's our thing. That's like our vibe in the studio, like when we working and shit. So we kind of drop everything. So right now I'm in that position where it's like, okay, how do I pick 8 songs? How do I pick 10 songs? How do I pick 12 songs? How do I pick like the order in which they come out and stuff like that? Cause I have songs that I have from like before the pandemic. I have songs that I have from 2 weeks ago and they're all gonna come out. You know what I mean? So
that's insane. I wanted to tell you the story. I was going to use this in the intro, story, but I just have to let you know. I was straight up like in a bar in Little Italy. And I'm with my producer and we're just chatting away, like whatever. And I heard Elastic come on.
Okay.
And I swear, like I really stopped mid-sentence and I was like, stop. I was like, who is this? I was like, I need to Shazam this right now.
Yeah,
and I did. And that's how I found you and reached out to you. So I wanted to know about the making of Elastic. And did you know like it was going to be like such a big song?
No, obviously when we put stuff out, we don't know how people are going to react to it or whatever. But we knew that it was like, we knew that we loved it. We knew that when we made it, we like really liked it and stuff like that. But the process of making it, it was cool. I was in the studio with Chuck English. If you guys are familiar with Chuck English from the Cool Kids, I was in the studio with him. I was in the studio with Nez, who produced the beat from Nez and Rio, the production duo, and a couple of my friends and stuff like that. And we were just cooking up. I was working on another idea, and then Nez played the beat, and I kind of just started freestyling over it and stuff like that. And then, we just ended up with the song. It was cool. It went kind of like fast. We made it in one day. Then we brought it back to the city, and we added all the post-production. Nico Segal and Vern Vern's from Memphis, but he's a Chicago baby now. And we kind of just added all the post-production, all the instruments and stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool. We knew that it was something special because everybody that heard it was like really into it and stuff, you know.
And taking it back a little bit, I mean, I really want to know where it all started too with your artist project. I mean, were you that kid that was like freestyling in middle school? Like, where did it all begin for you? When did you know that you wanted to do this?
Man, that's crazy. I was just talking to my therapist about this.
Really?
Yeah. Because we just switched there. I just had to switch therapists. New therapist alert.
No way. Why'd you switch therapists?
I just had to get a new perspective.
Yeah, let's get real personal about his history.
I just had to get a new perspective. Sometimes you need new perspective. Sometimes you just got to talk to somebody else about the shit. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
But nah, I never knew I was gonna rap. To be honest, like I met Vic when we were 12 or 13. He had a notebook full of raps. I met Chance when we were 14, 15, 14, I think, freshman year. And he had notebooks full of raps. He had a mixtape already and shit. And they were my closest friends. Over time, they kind of like got me to rap. Like all of our friends would freestyle. We did freestyle a lot all the time in high school. It was high school for me. And so we did freestyle a lot. That's where I kind of learned how to rap. And that's where I learned I could rap. I had like a gift for it, so to speak. Like I was like naturally adept at it. And then over time, I just started doing it. It became a realistic outlet. You know, as a kid, rapping does not sound realistic to me. When I was a kid, I grew up in a different type of time though. Like when I was a little kid, I didn't know anybody that was a rapper before they were famous. Rappers were like famous people.
Yeah.
You know, there was no like local rapper until like Lupe Fiasco or something like that for Chicagoans, for me. But I thought I was gonna do something realistic, like be a professional athlete, like, and that's so
which is really realistic. That's a really realistic goal to have.
Right. That's the most realistic, right? But it's crazy because like, oh man, my you gotta excuse my dog's trying to get in the interview. He want to say what's up.
Oh,
we always enjoy pet cameos. Let's see the dog.
What kind of dog is that?
It's a pit bull. This man is really. I've been honestly trying to keep him out of the camera for the last 3 minutes.
Oh,
it's all good. We in this thing now.
Is it a girl or a boy?
Nah, it's a boy. It's a boy.
Aw, is it pit bull?
Yeah, it's a pit bull.
Oh my god.
He's so excited. He's like knocking stuff off the table.
Is it true pit bulls are like aggressive? Like,
nah, they're super sweet.
It's all about how you raise the dog.
Yeah, it's pit bull. I mean, animals, pit bulls, dogs. I guess I'm no like zoologist or whatever, but like I feel like it's the same as people. Like, you know, if you raise a person in an intense, aggressive, dangerous, abrasive environment, then you might get a dangerous, intense, aggressive person and stuff. But if you raise a person in a loving, you know, cool environment that's like productive to their growth, they're just gonna be a cool ass person and shit, you know.
You came up in a really interesting time where when you were first really getting serious about releasing music in like 2012, 2013, 14, that was kind of corresponding with the rise of the streaming era and Spotify and stuff. And I'm sure that SoundCloud was a big deal. Yeah, SoundCloud, of course. Do you sometimes wish that you had come out maybe in the 90s when you had to do like the trunk mixtape cassette kind of thing? Or do you feel grateful
right now? Fuck no. Yeah, like right now is the best time. Like if I personally feel I don't really do this. I never think about like, what if I would, you know, I'm 29 years old, so I don't really think about that type of life perspective. Yeah. Maybe when I'm like 50, I'll be like, oh, what if I would, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe not when I'm 50. Maybe it's gonna take hopefully I never have that perspective. Hopefully I feel fulfilled by my life choices and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like I feel like the best time to come out as an artist, for me personally, my perspective is right now. Because in the 90s, think about it. In order to be the guy who everybody had your mixtape, you first had to print up enough mixtapes to give to everyone.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
A whole thing. That's a whole thing in itself that nobody has to worry about. That's a whole step of the music consumption process that no one has to worry about ever again. Like no kid will ever have to have the thing that I had in my hoodie pocket that bulged out the pocket that was this big that had 45 CDs that I had to go download the music for and manually put the songs on the list and put them bitches on a CD and carry a CD player and hope that batteries and shit like that. Like, you know, that shit is out. That shit is out the door. Yeah. So I definitely wouldn't want to be the dude doing that shit with a cassette tape. They had it way harder than we got it. We got this shit easy.
Have you ever made a mixtape on CD for a lady friend?
I've made playlists, but I've never made a CD.
Yeah.
Maybe he was going after sort of like the cougar demographic. You might want to make a CD, but for right now,
I might make a cassette tape for a nice older woman.
I get your point about, you know, that it's a lot easier now to release music, but at the same time, you get a lot of people. And I've noticed this regardless of genre, on the rock side, on the hip hop side, on the pop side, you have a lot of people releasing music who maybe wouldn't be releasing music 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But because it is so easy, you have a saturation of people releasing stuff.
That's a super fact. I think that it's way easier to drop music now. And so you got people dropping music that probably wouldn't have been qualified to get exposure at a different point. And I personally think I could have competed in any generation of rap. But I do agree with that for some of the other people that are like prominent right now.
Speaking of like competition, one thing I was, sometimes I wonder, because I feel like it's a little bit different in every genre. And like, I feel like each genre has their own beef or whatever it is. Would you consider the rap game like competitive? And like, what's like the nitty gritty about being a rapper in, these times? Is it like crew against crew, or like within the crew there's drama? Like, what's the real deal about that?
I don't think so. I think it's less competitive now probably than ever because it's so easy. Like we were talking about, like right now, I feel like it's so easy to be a rapper. Mm-hmm. So I think it's way less competitive nature. Even if you look at like the rate of collaboration on songs, like all of the biggest rappers have songs together for the most part. Like if you name the top 10 rappers that sell the most or do the most streams, 8 of their ass have worked all together interchangeably and shit like that. So I feel like
probably wasn't the case like years ago. I feel now that I think about it.
Right.
New thing
to work together. I think back in the day it was like that, like stereotypical rapper stuff or whatever. But now more people can be rappers too. For a while, the voice of rap was either you're like a backpacker or like a very dangerous person or whatever. And now you can
backpacker dangerous. No, that is I dead ass my mom. Of course, every mom knows who Queen Latifah is because of the acting, right?
Right.
And I was trying to explain to my mom that in the late 80s, early 90s, you had like the real positive sort of intellectual rap that Queen Latifah was doing. And then you had like the harder West Coast NWA kind of stuff going on.
Or even like kind of New York shit.
In the New York, right. But you had like hard rap and you had more like the laid back rap. And I feel like now it's easier to combine the two. You, my friend, combine the two where sometimes you're playful and laid back and sometimes you come hard.
Yeah. I feel like that's just me trying to like pay homage to everything that I came up on. Like that's a big thing for me in my process too. I always feel like I love when people listen to my music and be like, man, this sound like this, because it does on purpose. You know what I mean? Like it does sound like that. And so I like that. Like I want to be compared to the people I admire. I want that to be like, I want the kid that doesn't have the Rolodex of references that I may have from like having older siblings or having the internet or being like really into music for whatever circumstance provided me that like perspective. I want the other kid to hear my music and get those same feelings. And I would love if they could hear it, if they could get 10 different feelings on the same album. Like I would love if a kid could hear NERD's influence and Dipset's influence and like 3 6 Mafia's influence on one mixtape. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I could tell you do like that sort of early 2000s, like college dropout era Kanye soul samples and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you consider yourself a crate digger, a beat explorer? Like, where do you find these interesting samples that you use?
Well, I don't make the beats. So that's like Thelonious primarily. He finds the majority of the samples. Thelonious he is a legend, but he was like a prodigy in the sample chopping scene. You know what I mean? People have known him since he was 17, 16 and stuff on the internet for his ability to chop samples and find good samples and stuff like that. So I give that to Thelonious primarily, but then fine tuning it is something that we are really good at because we know what we like. Like I'm the type of person that I used to be the type of person that listens to everything. You know what I mean? Like I would just listen to everything. And now I only listen to stuff that I consider like great. Like I listen to the same music and I might add some stuff into there, add an album that drops into like what I consider great. But it's like watching highlights. Like you don't go watch some dude's highlights that also played on the Bulls with Mike. You go watch Michael Jordan highlights if you want to be like a great basketball player. You know what I mean? Like, find somebody like that does something that you like, and you might watch their highlights because they do something at a Michael Jordan level. But I try to like only really listen to the people that I feel are like great, you know?
It's known that you I mean, because just like Jordan said, you're so insightful, and like I've seen other interviews that you've done, and you seem just like so sharp. But it's known like you decided to not complete your final year of high school, and I wanted to know what made you come to that decision, mm, and whatnot.
Well, first I got kicked out of high school.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I got kicked out of my high school and I went to an alternative school. And
oh man, the alternative schools.
my
Oh,
I remember
alternative school was
those.
cool. It was really funny. It was like really
he said it was funny.
it was mad fun. It was mad funny. I'm not gonna lie. But also they provided us with all of the dates and information on taking the GED test, which I didn't know once you're like 16 or 16, 15, something like that. I think 16. Once you're 16, you could just go do it at any time, even if you're in high school. And nobody had ever provided me with that information.
Wow.
And I personally feel like that's, for some people, that's a way better option. Like some people have aspirations of things that they might could get done without the traditional high school route. And had someone at my school told me, look, man, if you don't want to be here, you could just go take your GED test. We'll give you pre-test for it, help you prepare for it. So you could at least have a certificate that says you finished this stage of your life, and you can maybe try to go to JUCO for 2 years to get your prerequisites or whatever you need to get before you go to university or whatever the case may be. I feel like I was one of those kids that would benefit from that more. And I was so oppositional to school because there were so many things that I understood that I already wouldn't need. And there was such a level of authority that the people at the school had that I felt like they would abuse in certain instances at my school in particular. So I was just like, man, I was kind of anti-school. So they kicked me out and I got my GED. And I ended up becoming the buyer and manager at a store that I had like interned at since high school and stuff like that, like a clothing store and skate shop. And so I started doing the thing that I always wanted to do when I was a kid. Before I started rapping, I wanted to have my own clothing store and stuff, or like a dispensary. These were like the two things I felt like I wanted to do. I knew that legalization was like on the horizon. And I thought that going to California, learning how to grow and then learning how to run a dispensary would be like a realistic entrepreneurial venture for me. But yeah, it was like that type of stuff where I just was like, you know, I can't really do the thing that is assumed I'm going to do just because it's assumed I have to do it. I kind of have to do what makes sense for me. And finishing high school didn't really make sense for me. So I got my GED and got a job.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing music for a living?
I would have a store for sure. Or I would be maybe the buyer at like a bigger store, like something like a Saks or a Neiman or something like that. Or maybe one of the like boutiques, like Chicago has a lot of like high end high street boutiques.
Right.
I would probably have something like that going on. I already had like a somewhat budding career in retail because I had worked so closely with leaders for so long. It's like a streetwear store in Chicago that was really prominent. And then that ended up blossoming into Fat Tiger. So I could easily see myself working in retail or like design for sure. If not like the cannabis industry, excuse me.
Cannabis.
Yeah. Now,
is that where Dre Purp comes from?
Not really, kind of though, a little bit.
I was wondering, I was like, is that the purple? Because like, you know, some weed is purple. I don't really smoke weed anymore since like high school even. But yeah, is that where it comes from? Just like
that's really come from that. Purple was always my favorite color. And people just kind of called me Purp. It was like
I like that wholesome response. Purple, my favorite color. That's a good wholesome response.
Nah, yeah, I was Purp before everything was purple, because then like you get into like there was like a whole phase where people were called Purp because of lean and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I was kind of already Joey Purp at that point, so that was a tough couple years for the boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of situations I didn't need, but it was cool.
Let's talk about your artistic relationship with Kami. Am I pronouncing, is it Kami or Kami? I've always said Kami, but
Kami, yeah, it's Kami.
Okay, I got it right. Now, you've done a lot of music with him over the years. You have the new project, You and the Money. Why do you think you guys gel so well as collaborators?
I think first and foremost because we're friends. We know each other very well. We have like and the reason we are such good friends is because we have a very similar scope of reference. Like at the same times we were listening to the same things. When we met, we were both like heavily into Lil Wayne. We both probably went through the same period of time of listening to like, I don't know, MGMT and Gucci Mane and like whoever else we were listening to in high school and stuff like that. And like internet music and stuff like that, like Tory Moore and stuff. So like we just all probably went through the same things at the same time. And I think that lends itself to creativity because when I do something, you get it. You get why I did it because you know where I'm pulling from or you know what I'm referencing or you know what I mean? So I think that's really what it is. We just know, we know the same stuff and we know each other. And we're good at sending. Like we don't sit in the same room and make everything. You know, like he can make a hot song to me. I can make a hot song, send it to him. Then we might link up so I can record the verse to the shit he already made and we'll make something new. So now that's 3 songs out of what would have been 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess my next question is, when is there going to be an actual official follow-up to Quarter thing?
So
is that a sore subject?
No, it's not a sore subject at all.
Mm.
Honestly, to be completely honest with you, I have 3 projects fully mixed and mastered, ready to drop. I could drop them tomorrow if I wanted to. So the follow-up to Quarter thing has a tentative date on it. It's coming very soon. But yeah, I'm just kind of working on the business side of it. But the music is finished. The music is all finished, mixed and mastered, packaged up real nice, ready to go right now.
Oh my God, you have the visuals and everything?
We have a lot of the visuals. Yeah, we have 3 visuals shot. We got a bunch of, we have the like creative language, so to speak.
Who in the gang like kind of handles your visuals or oversees everyone's visuals? Because you know, some people are like kind of crazy about it and some people would just throw up like whatever. What kind of artist are you when it comes to visuals?
So in-house in our group of friends, we have Troy from Chicago. He shot like the majority of Chance's last videos. He shot the couple videos that we shot off of You Are the Money. He shot them. And he's like my little cousin. He's family to me. You know, we've known each other since he was probably 12, 11 years old. And so he's our in-house like home team videographer. I also work heavily with Jakob Films. He's from Chicago as well. That's like my personal right-hand man when it comes to anything visual. We've traveled the world together. We're working on a documentary we've been filming for the last like 4 years, damn near 5 years. So we have a couple people from the home team that we shoot with. But I'm willing to work with everybody. I'm that type of person. Like I will work with anybody. You know what I mean?
Speaking of working with anyone, let's talk about Save Money for a sec.
Okay, for sure.
So like you're the founder. Am I correct on that?
One of the founders, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like going back to talking about rap gangs and like just the crews and like, you know, how friendly is the rap game.
Yeah.
Versus how like you guys can also come together. Tell me about how much you have to, how much do you owe to Save Money and also just like Chicago, the rap scene in Chicago for your success?
I don't owe nobody nothing. I did all this shit by myself. Yeah, I just went. I owe all this shit to everybody. Like, to be honest, like I'm that type of person. Like I do think that I write everything. So like all my words I give to myself and God. Like I was giving my message, but I wouldn't rap if it wasn't for Chance and Vic. They literally and figuratively made me rap. Like they made me want to rap because they rap, and they like made me rap. Like they made me come to the studio. My first song I ever recorded, Chance made me come to the studio and was like, "Get on this song." And I'm like, "What do you mean get on this song?" He like, "Look, the beat is gonna play for this amount of time after what I said, and you gonna say something that kind of sound like like work off what I did and make a verse that sound like that." So like they made me rap, and then the Chicago music scene, sheesh, like we wouldn't be the time period we popped off in. You know, so much was happening. Like Chance happened at the same time as Keith. So like the same way I wouldn't be here if not for Chance, like rising tides raise all ships or whatever they say. So like I wouldn't be here without Chance, but same way Chance wouldn't be here without Keith, and vice versa. Keith was so polarizing because Chance seemed like such a, not to say he's not a good dude, he's a great dude, but he seemed like the good kid in comparison to the kid with 30 guns in his video. And then you hear Chance's music, it made Keith sound that much crazier. And then with all of this polarity and attention on Chicago, you got somebody like me that just dropped, you know, what I consider to be one of the greatest mixtapes of all time. And then you're like, damn, you know, it just give me more attention and give me more possibility, give me more eyes, more even to little shit, more fucking Red Bull and Sprite shows because we're the poppin' city and this the poppin' scene. You know what I mean? More of everything that helped me gain my footing here, and then by virtue of here, everywhere else. So I can't say enough. I could sit here and talk for 50 minutes about how much people have done for me. Like, let alone, I have some of the greatest producers in the world as my friends. Like, the people that I kick it with on a day-to-day basis also coincidentally have played instruments since they were small children. So like Peter Contel, Nico Segal, Darian Smoko Ono, Dex, Knox Fortune. These are people who all have been working on not just production, but music theory and working in studios and being studio engineer assistants. And they've paid their dues in the creation of music behind the scenes. So this whole time I've been learning how to rap, all these other people have been essentially learning how to let me rap, like learning how to facilitate me rapping. So
you guys grow together.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
One strain that kind of goes through Chicago hip hop in my mind is just like what we've been talking about, this intellectual curiosity about the stuff that's come before you, whether it's Ye or Common or Chance or whoever. There's always interesting obscure samples. There's always really clever wordplay. It's not just about bragging about your car. It's about talking about your family and where you're from and all this stuff. Do you feel like that's true, or do you think that's something that people like me from the outside put upon Chicago hip hop?
No, I think that there has always been this other side of Chicago Black conscious culture, not even just hip hop, because it comes out in the hip hop every once in a while. Before us, there was Common, like Common and like Typical Cats and people like that were like, Common obviously made it big. He has platinum songs. Typical Cats was like extremely local, if I'm not mistaken. But like there was a wave of Chicago rap that was already like very high level skill type of rapping. You know what I mean? And I think that was because there's a particular community of like high taste level, kind of more definitely well off, I would dare say rich Black people in Chicago as well. Like it's not all the trenches and it's not all Wrigleyville and O Block. There's like a large area in between that. And Chicago has a history of that. Muhammad Ali lived here for years. Farrakhan still lives here. Barack Obama lived here into his presidency. He still had a home here that I think he owns to this day. So Chicago's a prominent Black city. And I think in being prominently Black and having prominent Black people, you have this culture of kind of like inquisitive, educated Blackness. And then that bleeds in through the rap. And we're like the kids and little brothers and nephews of all these people. So like, I think that's really where it comes from.
Wow.
Now, as someone who loves the history of hip hop and you love hip hop from all different regions of the country, I just wanted to do this little, like, we have these little rapid fire games we do, hypotheticals, which we like to do on the podcast. And so I'm going to throw up some people from different regions of the country, and you tell me who you'd rather collaborate. Now, these are people in their prime. So when I throw somebody up, think about it's them in their prime. So let's start with New York. Jay-Z or Nas?
Jay. Easy.
Jay-Z. Okay. Let's go down south in their prime. Outkast 3 6 Mafia.
I can't pick.
It's hard, right? That's hard, right? Yeah.
I can't pick. In their prime, though, I will say this: the 3 6 Mafia studio session will probably be way more fun. I can only in their prime, because Andre 3000 is like completely straight edge, and Big Boy seemed like he might have been a wild dude, but 3 6 Mafia, they too turned. So maybe if I had to choose, like if they both caught me on the same day and they were in two different places or some shit like that. But I don't know. That's tough. If I had to drink right now, I'd be drinking. You know what I mean?
Okay, good. I love it. Okay. Going to LA, SoCal, Dr. Dre or Kendrick?
Well, I would say Kendrick because I might end up working with Dre too by way of working with Kendrick.
I thought about that. I was like, happen. You can manipulate this.
Yeah.
Other way won't happen.
That's mathematical.
It's funny. It's hard to do this
the other way too. Like if I get locked in with Dre, Kendrick might hop on my shit. Definitely, actually. So maybe Dre, because I would definitely lock in with Kendrick. But either one, I would say though, I don't know. That's tough because as a rapper, I was about to say I would want to work with Dr. Dre because he could probably bring more out of me because he's like going to produce my song and help me produce the best song. But Kendrick would also make me want to be like perform at a high level because he's Kendrick. So that's tough though. That's really hard.
Yeah, it's not quite apples to apples because you got somebody who's
producer.
As a producer.
Yeah, that's tough. That
was tough, and it was hard to do Southern California because I feel like the hip hop here. I'm in LA, by the way, right now. Is the hip hop here is so intertwined? Like all the collab people have worked on each other's stuff, and so it's kind of hard to separate it out.
And Kendrick's such a clear like leader on the leaderboard of who would you work with from Southern California.
Sure.
If Nipsey was alive, it would be Nipsey, but out of the people who are alive, Kendrick for sure. Okay.
So let's go up to the Bay Area, E40 or Too Short.
That's tough too. Damn. I'm going to respectfully say, damn. I'm gonna respectfully say Mac Dre.
Oh, you went with the C. You went with the C.
I'm gonna just respectfully bow out of E42 Short and just say Mac Dre because God bless the dead and he's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think E40 he got such a raw style though. Like E40 is cold, man. E40 is cold.
It is two totally different guys.
Yeah, for sure. E40 married. He's been married for probably 25 years.
Yeah.
Honest dude, cool, and he a family man. Too Short. You never know what you're gonna get with Short.
I think Snoop Dogg too has been also married. Or I follow Snoop Dogg on Instagram.
That's something
since the early 90s. Yeah.
I said that too. We need to give Snoop Dogg and his wife the most credit in the world, most importantly his wife, because it's probably not easy to have been married to Snoop Dogg for the last 30 years. They holding it down, they still together. Shout out them. Shout out Snoop Dogg and Mrs. Snoop Dogg.
And you got to know, like, out of all the success Snoop Dogg has had, he's had a good woman by his side the whole time. So there's something to be said for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not, you don't get one without the other, bro. I don't think that he's able to hold it down in the ways he did without that family unit at home. So that's commendable for sure.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's time out real quick. What's your status right now with the ladies? What do you got going on?
What's your status with the ladies?
I mean, do you have someone that you like? That are you like doing something regular with, or are you kind of out there?
I'm cooling, man. I'm cooling.
Are you easy to like how are you like a Snoop Dogg type? Are you easy to get along with, or what's it like being in
Snoop Dogg type? What do you mean Snoop Dogg? Like, am I
ready to have that one that?
Oh yeah. I'm that type of person. I'm like a relationship.
Are you monogamous? That's what we're trying to.
Yeah. I'm a serial monogamous. So
okay, ladies out there.
That's why I can't. No, not serial monogamous as in it's happening very frequently. Serial monogamous as in like I will go from like a girlfriend to single to like a complete girlfriend.
Yeah,
like single.
You know what I mean? I get you. You like the longer relationships.
Not necessarily relationships, but I'm not into like. How do I say this? I'm trying to say this in the PG-13.
You're over your thought phase.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever had a thought phase, but yeah, I'm not a thought. Man.
I don't think I've had a thought phase either. I'm like trying to figure it out. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm not.
I don't know if I want one.
Oh
man.
Okay, back to regular scheduled programming. that was get to know. That was Love Connection with Joy Purp right there. All right. Now let's go to the Midwest. Your neck of the woods. Wait, let's go Houston first. Houston, Scarface or Paul Wall?
You know what? It's fucked up because to be completely honest with you, I want to say Scarface because he black. But Paul Wall, because I damn near want to pick Paul Wall. Like Paul Wall makes slap.
Oh my god!
And I might end up getting a grill or some shit like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I might end up getting a grill and
you ride around those Houston slab cars with the wood grain and everything.
With the candy paint. Paul Wall has some candy paint.
Yeah. Way to bring it into your own music there with the candy paint reference. I love it.
You do, right?
Yeah. Okay, so last one, Midwest.
Kanye.
Eminem or Ye?
Oh.
What do you even ask?
I know you got one answer for this.
Everybody in the Midwest, for the most part, I'd rather work with Kanye than anybody. Other than Hov and Wayne, I'd probably rather work with Kanye than anybody, period.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of like the biggest guys from the Midwest.
Midwest. But Kanye by far. I don't want to work with Eminem. I would have wanted to work with Eminem back in the day. I'm not gonna say I don't want to work with Eminem because if he called me right now, I'll be excited.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight Eminem like that. But Kanye by far though. What? Kanye.
Well, and Kanye's another apples and oranges thing where you get the production in addition to the lyricism,
Kanye been tripping though. I'll say that.
I was gonna ask, what's your opinion on all the Kanye news? And
I would have on my Yeezy hoodie. I had to throw on some essentials just because I ain't take this.
Yeah, everyone wants to back away 10 feet right now.
What's your take on that?
I'm still an avid Kanye supporter. He tripping. He obviously got shit going on with him. Don't nobody know what's really going on. People be having shit going on with them where it's like, they got like mental problems and stuff like that. So I don't want to kick him while I don't even know if he's down. He might just be on 10, but like his ass tripping. And he not. Some things he says he's right about. Some things he says he's not right about. Some things he says he's right about, but he says it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Some things he's just dead wrong about. But at the same time, nobody's right all the time. And he just so happens to always have an audience.
Yeah.
And if there was a dude on the corner that was screaming everything Kanye was screaming, we'll walk right past his ass, regardless if he was right, wrong, or indifferent. But because it's Kanye West and we feel so emotionally attached, or most people feel so emotionally attached. We have this saying in our friend group, like, we don't look to people that are artists for like anything other than what they say they're giving us. They're giving us art. We look to them for art. I'm not looking at him to raise my children. I'm not looking at him to raise me. I'm not looking for him an insight on how I should live. If he gives me positive or negative examples on what I should and shouldn't do, that's my personal lesson to take from it. But I personally try not to feel a big way about anything anybody does that's not like directly related to me. He tripping, but he on 10 about certain shit. So it is what it is, man. Shout out Kanye, man.
Shout out Kanye.
I love that. That was a good even answer, because I feel like people don't want to answer how they feel about Ye right now.
Yeah.
Or they're like ride or die by his side.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of everything.
Like against him. And that's people like don't give anyone the space or grace to be wrong, but they want to listen though. Like if you don't want to hear what he say, don't listen. First and foremost, you know what I mean? Like what Tyler said about internet bullying, he was like, he don't believe in that shit because you could just log off. And to a certain extent, it's obviously not that cut and dry, because if you like receiving internet bullying from a lot of people and you like internet's part of your life, but you very well could just not go on Instagram or Twitter or anything else that you're receiving Kanye West's messages from. So I don't know. It's hard for me to really like feel away when people feel offended about shit like that, because you could easily just tune out. He didn't like harm anybody. He just said some shit you disagree with, or some shit that was wrong, or some shit that was inflammatory or whatever,
Yeah. And I totally agree that there is obviously some mental health issues going on there.
So you see somebody that turned up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm with you.
I think we'd all go like a little crazy,
He's on 10. He's on 10 right now. So it's like I can't call it.
And when you don't have anyone to check you, when you're like at the top, you don't have anyone to check you.
Kim, where you at though? Come on. Do you think him and Kim should be together?
I don't know. I don't know either.
Don't.
That's terrible.
Trying to get some Team Z stuff out of you.
I don't know. I don't know what I should do. All
right, Joe, we got to let you go.
Some milk.
Thank you so much for joining the show, Joey.
What about milk?
No, I said they need some milk. It's like it's an internet joke, I guess. It was a video.
What does that mean?
It's a long story. It's a video of somebody that got knocked out, and while they was laying on the floor, somebody in the background screamed, "He needs some milk."
What? Oh, because of your bones?
It's a meme. It's a meme. Yeah.
It's like a meme. So now when people is doing some shit that they need some help, obviously they need some help. They ass need some milk. They need something. I don't know what they need.
Oh, before we go, Joey, you got anything coming out that you'd want to shout out the date? Anything you want to use out there?
I don't want to put a date on it, but definitely very, very soon. Very, very, very soon, new music coming out for sure.
Okay, very soon.
Hell yeah.
Soon. You heard it here.
Yeah.
All right. Joey Purp, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Hey, appreciate y'all for having me. Shout out y'all. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you later, man.
Ski for sure.
Bye.
Peace.
All right.
He's so dope.
that was Joey Purp, will get new music soon. He promises new music soon. So Demi, this is our first show with the new microphones, new matching microphones.
Yes. Has anybody noticed we have matching microphones? We're twins.
Yes. And so it should sound like we're almost in the same room.
Yes.
Almost.
And we will be very soon.
Demi, we have as you know, as listeners know, as Pop Dust fans know, outside of the show, I do a lot of photo and video projects with artists who, you know, we can only get to one person a week or one person every 2 weeks on the show. So I do all these different projects with the artists on Pop Dust. And I want to shout out, we just did a short documentary with Malibu Baby, the co-producer of Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl. And that's a really fun, really insightful interview. Demi liked that one. But I also want to point out, we did an interview with the singer Killboy, singer-songwriter Killboy, who is on Atlantic Records, currently on tour with our friend Swaco. And I want to bring this up because there's been, Demi, we've noticed a lot of people who were in the pop or hip hop space 2 years ago who are now rockers, who are now suddenly, you know, guitars in the thing. And Killboy was one of those artists who was more on the pop side. And so I asked her in the interview, and you'll love this answer. I said, you've developed more of a rock show over the last year or so. Why did you lean in that direction? This was her answer, and you'll love this, Demi. She said, I booked my first show and started rehearsing, singing the trap tracks, and it felt like bad karaoke. So I got a band together and we turned them back to rock versions. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this bedroom trap shit. And I was like, that is something that Demi Ramos herself would say. I'm done with this bedroom trap shit.
I'm done with this bedroom trap shit. Damn.
I love that to get an honest, a real authentic answer.
That is a real answer.
And meeting Killboy definitely does not seem like a jaded music industry veteran. Just seems like a person who's been making music for a while and wants other people to hear it, which is refreshing compared to some of the artists out there who are just kind of in it for the fame, you know.
I was about to shout out MGK and then I stopped myself.
Yeah. we made a whole show without making an MGK reference.
Damn it, we were so close, Jordan.
Yeah. Maybe next time. All right, guys, that'll be it for us. As always, go to popdust.com for the latest in pop culture and music news, and follow us on Instagram, of course, Jordan Edward Studio for me and Demi_Ramos for Demi, and check out past episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, we'll see you later.